Restart. Hello. I'm feeling very old today. I think it's about the only way I can really express it, because I wanted to do another in the line of bullshit, looking at comments on the Guardian news stories and pointing out where the bullshit is, or giving somebody the nod that their bullshit's slightly better than other people's bullshit. But for 2 days now, I've read these things and they're just so bullshit that it's just almost a waste of time saying that that bullshit's slightly better than the other bullshit. The main point I seem to be getting to is the question, well, couple of questions. Maybe it's that I'm late to this sort of thing, but I think I'm seeing a great rise in nastiness. Now, you might know that it's always been there, and I'm just late to seeing it, and I'll go, yeah, that could well be right. The next question is this vitriolic... No, we'll cut out vitriolic and we'll stick with nastiness. Is this nastiness effective? Because I'm going to presume that kind of you're right, that I'm wrong, that it's always been like this. That, what should we call them, the loudmouths always come up with this nasty bullshit. And it's bullshit because it's so often just factually wrong. But I'm not really labelling it bullshit for that particular reason. It's bullshit because it's so lacking in depth. It knows that if it goes any deeper into what it's talking about, it'll get stuck and the nastiness just won't flow properly, because it will be seen that it's slightly more complicated than the bullshitter wants to express it to be. So as long as you just stay on the surface and skid along being nasty and full of shit, it's all right. So what we've got are these shit skaters just skidding around and flicking mud at each other, but always avoiding to get into the depth of what they're purportedly talking about, because presumably either they don't know any more about the depth, they don't know any facts, or they know that if they went deeper, their skidding around on the surface would slow down and it wouldn't be half as much fun, basically. So they just stay on the surface, flicking mud at each other. So my question is it effective? But then I've got to think, well, is it effective for what and for who and for why? I imagine it's effective as an emotional release for the people here in the comments doing it. Presumably it makes them feel better. So if it makes them feel better, it's better for them to do it. And I think the fingers are wagged at them for doing it, because although they're making themselves feel better by throwing the shit about, if some of the shit is sticking, it might be sticking all around to other people, and so the balance of things gets out of whack, as in they feel better for throwing the shit around, but there is more less betterness. There's worse caused to other people by their shit slinging. So, although they get a little plus themselves, a little boost from flinging the shit, they bring others down with more negatives. So the net result of the shit slinging is a general societal negative. That's kind of what I'm thinking. There is just so much of it that I just go section after section thinking, well, that's good, I could use that to make a video, or I could use that to make a video, but it wasn't quite right, and it wasn't up in the top thumbed up ones, or whatever reason, but it is just all shit slinging. And the rebuttals are just shit slinging as well. Every now and then some people come in and try and be reasonable, but generally they don't get the thumbs up. It's, I'm pretty sure, an emotional release, this shit slinging. This one I've just on at the moment, I started on this comment, and I was thinking, oh, this is good. This fellow really can put a sentence together. And it just ends up, should I read it to you? He's talking about, there's something in the UK called universal credit going on at the moment, I think, where a load of benefits or monies paid out by the government to people are being rolled into one, where then you just get the one. I think that's the idea. So, I won't be throwing too much shit around. I haven't got the depth to go into it. Austerity's purpose, if purpose it had, was economic, was never economic, but entirely political. I'll do that sentence again, because it's a good opening sentence. Austerity's purpose, if purpose it had, was never economic, but entirely political. It's a good opening sentence. I like it. I like it a lot. So I read on. The simple-minded and wrong-headed analogy with household budget was only ever intended to distract the hard of thinking. Okay, second thing, that's very good. The simple-minded and wrong-headed analogy with a household budget when talking about government budgets, that's very good, because there's a huge amount of bullshit slinging around comparing government budgets to household budgets, and it's just nonsense. That's a depth thing. Coming from me, I understand it. It's nonsense. You've got to really know what you're talking about if you want to say it's not nonsense. And most people, well, most everybody hasn't got a clue. They just think the government, anyway, you know about the household budget should not be used when it comes to government budget. It was only ever intended to distract the hard of thinking. Nice little comment. I like it. But then it goes on, you see it, then it goes, this goes on straight to, it was only ever intended to distract the hard of thinking while the government shat on the poor and disabled. And then it goes, it gets even more out of control. And just name-calling and, all right, bad language, but I mean, coming from austerity's purpose, if purpose it had, was never economic but entirely political. And then you go, okay, well, we can relate to that sort of thing. Sounds like an intelligent person. And then it just gets to, just shit-slinging. Let's just move on from that, because it's just an example. Jeff Bezos again. Yeah, should I go to that? I will go to that. Which one was this one? Oh, the Mars mission. I won't go into that. We'll go to Jeff Bezos. And one of the big... because this is the one I was going to use as my bullshit one. So we're high up in the thumbs up. Rich due to all tax and government... Sorry, it's behind my tripod, and so I'm struggling to read it. This is about Jeff Bezos. Again, because it's another article, because other people are catching on that he, I think it's only for a while, overtook Bill Gates and has dropped back a bit, but that's why the articles are out. Rich due to all the avoided taxes and government subsidies. Big ups for that. And quite reasonably, I think, the best reply, the most apt reply, with almost as many thumbs up as the initial comment, was rich due to all the avoided taxes and government subsidies. Good, so you show you what you're talking about. He is rich because he created something really useful. Sure, if Amazon paid more taxes, he would be a little less rich. What have you done? Now, I'd take those as my bullshit ones, because it's quite interesting. Which is the more bullshit? Rich due to all the avoided taxes and government subsidies. Right, let's have a look at that. Rich due to all the avoided taxes. Right. Now, this person, I would imagine, is one of the ones that 11 minutes 35. No chance. I'm not going to go with that. Am I? What have I said for the last 10 minutes? And if I put this out, I can't help thinking that I'm wasting people's time. What have I said for 12 minutes now? I might as well finish. I feel rotten. Okay. Jeff Bezos, rich due to the avoided taxes. This is obviously somebody who thinks that he's got all these zeros in his bank account that he can spend, and that's kind of his after-tax income, and it's so wildly large because he didn't pay the taxes or something. And that's, I mean, even the stupidest among you would know that that's nonsense. I did, because I knew I'd get to this, or thought I might get to this, I did actually do a lookup, a Google. I go ogled something. And government subsidies, well, government subsidies, I'm not sure what he's on about. I wouldn't be surprised if local governments do give his big warehouses incentives to come and situate in their areas. But whether that makes him any richer. Anyway, it's a pretty bad comment. But is this next fella any better, where he says he is rich because he created something really useful? Yeah, I let that go through. Sure, if Amazon paid more taxes, now this is again a bit bullshitty. If Amazon paid more taxes, he would be a little less rich. That's quite true, because if Amazon just went round paying tax that they didn't have to pay, the share price would go down. So it's true, but again, it's somebody that obviously doesn't understand that Amazon is in the dominant position that it's in, because it has created something really useful, that it's bloody efficient. It really is efficient. But it's like Japan in the 60s, 70s and early 80s. They're just undercutting everybody and not making a profit. They're wearing they're just getting any profits they've got and putting them straight back into the business. Or just undercutting and not making the profit. So they're not meant to make the corporation tax, which the corporation tax is meant to go on profits. They're avoiding paying the corporation tax by purposefully not making the profits. And you can say, well, later when they've taken everything over, they can really jack everything up and make huge profits then. There's no point. Absolutely no point in them ever doing. What would ever be the point of doing that? There'd be no point to doing that. That's kind of a silly conspiracy theory sort of thing. But then this fellow really loses out by saying, what have you done? As in, you can't make the comment about Bezos being rich by avoiding taxes and getting government subsidies because you haven't set up an Amazon. I mean, which is the more pathetic, bullshitty one? They've both got points. That Amazon, I'm sure, keeps its tax paying down to a minimum. I'm sure Bezos keeps his tax paying down to a minimum. But the big fact is here, that Amazon is ruthlessly efficient and keeps its profit margin as small as possible so it can wipe out all the opposition and pay less taxes. Okay, I did look because I was thinking, well, these people think that Bezos has got all this money, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he'll only have that money if he sells his Amazon shares or he gets a huge salary. So I just ogled how much is this not, oh yeah, how much salary does Bezos get paid? Amazon, this is Money Magazine, or Money something or other anyway. Oh, Time, or maybe Time owns Money. It's the money section of Time. Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos is crazy wealthy. His net worth, see, this is time and money. What does net worth mean? Putting net in there is not really applicable, is it? Net is kind of you take out your mortgage and you add what you've actually got in the bank and take the difference. It's the difference, but it's not really applicable to say net worth for Bezos, is it really? Can soar in mind-blowing ways, like when Bezos became 1.5 billion richer in one day a few weeks ago, when he earned 6 billion in just 20 minutes last April, or something, whatever it says. It's just the share price going up and down. But Bezos was not the highest paid employee last year in the company he runs. That title goes to Andrew Jassy, the executive in charge of Amazon's web services, which runs the company's cloud service operations, among other things. In 2016, Jassy earned roughly $179,000 in salary and 401k match, plus $35.5 million in Amazon stock, etc., 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 etc. So there you are. I don't know, 17, 18 minutes. What I'm trying to do is to try and be reasonable about things, because it just seems to me that so many people, YouTube seems to be getting an awful lot better. Do you think as well? I think YouTube used to be full, maybe it's just what I watched, full of nasties, but I think YouTube is now becoming bordering on exceptionally useful, almost like Amazon efficient in, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But the comment section, certainly of newspapers, and the quality of journalism is becoming exceptionally horrible. I'll leave it there. I think you've suffered enough. Bye.